Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and welcome to episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the formalities out of the way real quick, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. The first question for today comes from The Gentle Banana, and it is, what do you think about adding a theater mode into Rainbow Six Siege, where you can watch previous matches you have played and spectate all player perspectives? That has been something that I've been hoping Ubisoft would eventually add into Siege, because I think it would be incredible. Now, I'm assuming many of you guys already know what a theater mode is. It's kind of popping up in games like PUBG, Fortnite just added theirs, but essentially allows you to go back into a previous match, like he stated, and watch from different perspectives. The better ones give you more tools, like the ability to free cam around the map, and if we had that capability in a Siege, I really do think that it would elevate the game to the next level. This would have so many great applications. You want to learn different strategies, you want to figure out what you did wrong in a match, go back and watch what the enemy did. If you reverse a 5-man team that was able to pull off something that you just were not expecting, figure out what they did and maybe use that with your 5-man team in the next game. This would also make it a lot easier to identify hackers and cheaters. You don't have to rely on a 5-second window during the kill cam to figure out if they're doing anything suspicious. Just watch the entire match and see if they're following you through walls. It's going to be a lot harder to hide their hacks during an entire match than just during the moment when they try to take you out. This would also be phenomenal for content creators. I realize I'm a bit biased here because I make YouTube videos, but if you had the ability to free camera around the map, that would make it a lot easier to capture these awesome shots, these awesome moments, and really elevate those videos to the next level. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, why in the world would Ubisoft care about that? It's basically free advertisement. If you are able to create even cooler Siege montages, strategy videos, tactic videos, if you're able to create awesome content because you have this tool now at your disposal, that's going to make those videos more interesting to watch, more people are going to watch, more people are going to get interested in Rainbow Six Siege because of that. Once again, goes back to free advertisement, they get involved, and that's what Ubisoft is all about. They want more people to play their game. And so it also has a financial incentive around it as well. Now, the real question is though, is this even possible with their engine? I imagine it's got to be pretty difficult to create something like this, because if it was easy and they could just slap it on in, it'd probably already be in the game. This is not something that is new. Sure, it's gotten more popular in games like PUBG and Fortnite, but people have been asking for a battle recorder in the Battlefield franchise for like a decade now. Ever since like Battlefield 2, we've been wanting to have a return to that, and while maybe it's because DICE and EA don't see the advantage of having it, maybe they just don't want to spend the financial and development resources to create something like that, I think it also just comes down to the line that it's not something easy to implement, and that could be the very same reason why we don't have anything like that in Rainbow Six Siege. It's kind of hard to tell unless we got like a direct feedback from the developers. And so while I love this idea, I think it'd be incredible, especially for a competitive game like Rainbow Six Siege, since the developers haven't given us any indication over these last couple of years that this is even something that they're working on, I wouldn't get my hopes up. The next question is, what do you think about the next COD being rumored to not have a single-player campaign? The first thing I thought of when I saw that news was, what is the game gonna cost? Are you gonna charge the normal $60? Is it gonna be dropped down to $30, $40? Like, I'd be very surprised if that was true, but how are you gonna sell this to gamers who have grown to expect a campaign, a well-polished campaign? I know some people will disagree with that statement and think that COD is trash, but a lot of people really enjoy the Call of Duty franchise simply because of the single player. As soon as you take that out, are you really going to then charge $60 for a lot less content, and especially for content that maybe people don't even desire? Some people don't even want to play the multiplayer. Now, one thing that people have brought up is that there also is rumors that they're bringing in a Battle Royale mode. Now, I don't think that a BR mode in COD is actually a bad thing. I'm actually really excited to see what AAA developers are able to pull off in this genre. Yes, we have PUBG and Fortnite, but I think that like that is the first attempts at this. I think Fortnite has some legs on it, but as soon as Ubisoft, EA, DICE gets their hands on this, maybe the Call of Duty franchise creates something special, like I think that it's going to elevate the genre and we're gonna get something special. And so I'm not concerned that the next COD might have a BR game. I actually think that's kind of cool. The thing that I am a bit worried about though is that COD hasn't really ever been known for having a good netcode, and they've also never been known for having large amounts of players. As soon as we start to get to like 50 people on a map in COD, they bring it up to 100, what is their network performance gonna be? I don't know how their technology has progressed over the years, but for a long time, it's always been like peer-to-peer. You're gonna have dedicated servers if you wanna make this work. To my understanding, this franchise has been avoiding spending the investment on having dedicated servers for their users. I think right now the way that it functions is that if the host leaves, everyone is transferred on over to a low tick rate server, something that doesn't cost a whole lot, until they find a new host and it transfers everyone back on over. Yeah, that sort of works, but if you really want to have 50 to 100 people, which is going to be required for a BR game, you're going to have to spend the money on the infrastructure, and I don't know if they're going to want to spend that money, and so the end result may not be something that we all desire. And so all in all, I'm really curious to see what's going to happen at E3 and what the reception is going to be when they do make this announcement. If there isn't going to be a single player, I don't think people are going to be happy about that. Like, I'm imagining that sales are going to drop, especially if they keep that $60 price tag. And while a BR mode is intriguing, I'm also very skeptical on that front. The next question is, what do you think about adding in the sticky nade into Rainbow Six Siege? So I realize there's a fair amount of people out there that like the idea of having a gadget like this introduced into Siege, but I guess I'm just not understanding its usefulness and benefits compared to all of the other things that we have available to us. Other than being able to just flat out stick someone, like in COD days back in the day, like those moments are hilarious, like that would make for some great videos, but other than that, is it really going to be all that useful? I guess the one way I could see this being okay is that if it was mediocre, but at least it had a lot of applications that it could be useful for. So other than just trolling your enemy, maybe you could get through soft walls. So instead of using an Ashe, a breaching charge, Zofia, all the crazy amount of ways that you can get through soft walls, well, I guess you could just use an impact nade. Maybe not the most effective way of using a nade in this game, but if it opened it up like an impact hole, well there, you can charge on in and hopefully take out the guy and surprise them. That would be one application. Probably the best use would be for verticality. One tactic that can be very difficult to pull off if you're using the normal nade is if you've identified that someone is camping above you, you can cook it, throw it up at the exact moment, and then as soon as it arcs right underneath them, it explodes. Now that is not easy to pull off. If you have the sticky though, toss it on up, of course it sticks to the surface, they haven't moved, you're gonna get a free kill that way. That is, I guess, one benefit. But other than that, and how frequently is that really gonna happen? Maybe this would change the meta and everyone's gotta be worried what's going on below them. Like, that is a distinct possibility, but that requires droning, that requires communication and a fair amount of luck. Like, I just don't see that becoming the norm and something that is really gonna be all that desirable. But let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think that this would add in an interesting new strategy and dynamic into the game? Do you think it has no place? Let me know down below. The next question comes from Steven, and it is, what is your opinion on buffing the MPX damage a bit? Right now it feels like it's in a bad spot and it probably stands for Marshmallow PX. I completely understand where you're coming from on this one. Even though Valkyrie is one of my favorite operators, there are some times where it just feels like you're never able to take someone out. You're going for the headshots, but you're missing ever so slightly. You're hitting them in the shoulder, you're hitting them in the upper chest, and because this thing just does not do a lot of damage at a distance, it gives the enemy plenty of time to take you down. On the other side of the coin though, there are moments where I am destroying everyone that I come across because of this thing's incredible accuracy. This thing has one of the best recoils, in my opinion, in the game. This thing can turn into a laser beam, and so as long as you're able to have that pinpoint precision and you can take advantage of the one-shot mechanic, this thing can be devastating. The one question I have for you though is, what platform do you play on? On PC, I find that she's really great, but on console, from a lot of my console friends, they seem to struggle with her a little bit more because headshots are less likely and you're more likely to go for body shots. Now, Now, this isn't me trying to throw shade at console players. This is just the reality of using a controller compared to a mouse and keyboard. A mouse just is always going to allow you to be more precise. And so as a console gamer, I could see where Valkyrie wouldn't feel as powerful because of that. But on PC, it's almost a completely different story. We also have to remember that Valkyrie has one of the strongest gadgets in the game. Her cameras are invaluable. I've gotten more kills because of those cameras compared to probably any other gadget in Rainbow Six Siege. They are that incredible. And so we have to ask the question, does she need an upgrade in the damage department even though she has one of the best gadgets in the game? I don't think it's good for the health of the game to have operators that have both incredible gadgets and awesome weapons. You're going to want to have some strengths and weaknesses there. As soon as you do, you have another Ella on your hands, and of course that's not really all that desirable. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's episode of Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about what we discussed in today's video. Are you excited for the next COD? Are you disappointed that there may not be a single player? Let me know down below in the comments. As always, if you would like to submit your own question for an upcoming episode, you can also leave a comment or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.